Hey, what's up everybody? It's TheHyphenate here, and today we're gonna do a camera battle between the Sony A7C and the Sony A6600 camera. Both these cameras are actually very similar, though one is full frame and one is APS-C. Both use the same battery, have the same resolution, have IBIS, same autofocus functionality, both have HDMI output capabilities, and the same video codecs. Now in list form, I'm gonna do a breakdown of the biggest differences between these two cameras, and then afterwards, I'm gonna go over different shooting scenarios and give my recommendation to which camera would work best. Now when it comes to the image sensor, the A7C is full frame, which has a lot of advantages. The A6600 is APS-C, which has a 1.5 times crop. So when it comes to low light, the A7C definitely performs better. Same with background blur or bokeh. Let's say you have a 50mm f1.4 lens. If you have the same type of lens made for APS-C, that's actually gonna perform like a 75mm lens with an f2.1 aperture. Now when it comes to lenses, you do have slightly higher quality options with the Sony full frame, like the G Master lenses. However, those are exponentially more expensive and oftentimes way bigger than the APS-C lenses. And that can drastically affect price. The body of the A6600 normally retails at $1,400, though you can often find it on sale for $1,300 and sometimes $1,200. The A7C retails at $1,800. Now the really big price difference comes when buying lenses. APS-C lenses are normally less expensive, and there are other third-party options like Sigma lenses that are amazing and way cheaper than the native Sony lenses. Sigma lenses such as the f1.4 60mm or the f1.4 56mm are incredible lenses that I highly recommend and are way cheaper that give you a similar full-frame look. Now when it comes to the size and weight, they're actually very similar in size. So there isn't really a clear advantage. But when it comes to the design and button layout, I actually think the A6600 is a lot more comfortable and has more options. You have more custom buttons and the grip actually feels a little bit beefier than the A7C. So when you're holding it by hand, the A6600 feels a lot better shooting for longer periods of time. Now the A7C does have the memory card port off to the side, and I do like the ports and jacks layout better there because you can easily take out a memory card even if you have the A7C on a tripod or a gimbal. With the A6600, the memory card is where the battery is underneath. However, overall, I give the design and layout to the A6600. Now, both of them have a very similar EVF, but the monitor is drastically different on each camera. The A6600 has a flip-up screen, which in all honesty, I really like. But the big problem with that is that there is a cold shoe or hot shoe on top of the A6600. So when you flip up the screen, if you're trying to do any selfie type cams, then you're actually losing out the ability to use that hot shoe or cold shoe because now you have something blocking the screen. Now there is a quick fix. It's a cold shoe relocator made by Small Rig, which is really awesome. And the one that I have for the A6600 actually gives you two, one on each side and does not take over the native hot shoe on the A6600. Now the A7C has a fully articulating flip out screen, which in all honesty has a lot more flexibility and works a lot better because you're pretty much able to shoot at any angle without any limitations. Now, when it comes to the color science, they're very similar, but the A7C does have a little upgraded color science that I think feels a little bit more natural. Now, pretty much every full-frame Sony camera has a max shutter speed of 1/8000th. However, the A7C only does 1/4000th of a second, just like the APS-C bodies, including the A6600. Now, personally, I think that's kind of a drag, especially if you're shooting in bright environments with fast, wide lenses like an f1.4. You're often gonna still clip highlights and you're gonna need to use an ND filter or stop down your lens, which defeats the purpose of a fast, wide lens. Now with the A7C, you actually have the ability to change from mechanical shutter to electronic shutter. And when you do, the electronic shutter actually allows you to go all the way up to 1/8000th of a second. But there's one big limitation. It does not allow you to use flash. But again, if you're not shooting with super fast lenses in very bright environments, then it's not something that you're gonna actually really have to deal with. Now, when shooting video, there is another advantage with the A7C. You do have the option to use Sony's new gyro data image stabilization option. And when you're filming the video, there's actual metadata being recorded into the file that maps every single movement. And with that, you're able to stabilize your image in post using the Catalyst Browse software. I usually shoot on a gimbal with internal image stabilization on, but if you're ever in a situation where you don't have a gimbal on hand and you don't have a tripod, this is actually a pretty awesome option to have. So now that we've broken down a list of the biggest differences between these two cameras, let me go over a few shooting scenarios and I'll recommend which camera I think is best for the job. If you're doing cinematic video or doing any low light photography or video, then the A7C. If you're doing any streaming, vlogging, or YouTube videos, then either one of those cameras is really a great choice, and it really comes down to the form factor and the price that you want to spend on lenses. I think the same goes for podcast videos and long-form interview videos. Now, if you're doing street photography or landscapes, then I think either one of those cameras will work good. The A66 probably is the way to go because of the smaller form factor with lenses. Now, if there are any other shooting scenarios that you guys have in mind, please drop them in the comments below and I'll recommend which camera I think will best suit your needs. So there you guys have it. That's the camera battle between the Sony A7C and the Sony A6600. If you're interested in getting either of those camera bodies or the lenses that I recommend, I do have links in the description where you can purchase them from either B&H Photo or Amazon. It doesn't change the price that you get it at, but it does help this channel. Please make sure to drop a like on this video, drop a comment below if you have any questions, and please make sure to subscribe. I have a lot more videos coming soon. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.